Greetings, everybody, and welcome to episode 38, retake of the Siblings in Cardboard podcast. I'm your host, Donnie, joined by my buddies slash co-hosts, Noah and Thomas. Whether you're a veteran card gamer or a first-timer just testing the waters, we are all Siblings in Cardboard. Gentlemen, here we go again, episode 38 for the third time we've tried recording this.
Back and better, I'm sure.
Yeah,
well,
I hope
third
so.
time's the charm. They say that now.
It's gotta be. Third time's the charm, yeah, sure.
So we're just on the other side of the Mistveil pre-release, and I have to say the sealed experience was the best I've experienced so far.
It was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
But I have to admit that my strategy was probably not the most conducive to actually winning the thing.
Me
Because
either.
my whole strategy consisted of separating my card pool into two piles: stuff that New can play and stuff that New can't play. I didn't even look at the illusionist or ninja stuff.
Let's be fair. Every sealed pool I've looked at, New is playable, like and probably okay, not maybe even good.
I mean, I went 2 and 2, so it wasn't terrible, but it was fun. It was my first opportunity to play with a lady. It was fantastic. Oh, I'm sold.
I think
I was sold months ago, but
I think with Zen is the hardest in sealed because you either have to get enough leg taps, 1 for 4 go-agains, or you just have to pick somebody else. And Enigma, I feel like the card pool, you always get a playable Enigma card pool too. So I don't think I opened a single Zen card pool. My 3 sealed, I don't think any of them could play Zen, but all 3 of them I felt like I had made a choice between New and Enigma.
Yeah, I only got to play in the one. That's all I was. That was actually more than I was expecting. I didn't think I was going to make that one, but I made the decision. I was going to make time regardless of what else I had going on. So I was actually at the card shop several hours early with my laptop, just sitting there working on school stuff, and got a decent amount done, despite the fact that there was no Wi-Fi, which was very frustrating. But we got enough done for me to have justified it, and I'm all caught up. I've got 1 project left for this month, and I've got a little bit more breathing room. I'm feeling pretty good. Actually. Just waiting on grades now.
I had a pretty good deck Friday. I played New as well, and I went 3-1 on her. And
Nice.
My 3 wins, I killed them with their own cards. So that hero power is really powerful.
Yeah.
And I played into New, killed New with her own cards, and then Enigma twice, killed them with their own cards, and then the last Enigma had like manifestations of Miragai, and they took all of their good blue cards out except for like that card, and their blue pile just sucked, and I couldn't use it against them, and I just couldn't get past the Miragai. Yeah, that was Noah's in. Yeah, he beat the heck out of me.
Me too. He also did the same thing to me. Took out all his good blues. I had nothing that I could play, and yeah, Miragai just clobbers, man. I mean, 1 for 12 is pretty good.
I didn't play
whatever.
I didn't play a Bomb Majestic in any of my 3 pre-releases. Even Friday, my Bomb Majestic was the Enigma Sacred Art, but like my Enigma Reds were actually kind of poor on Friday, so I didn't end up running her. They were okay. Sunday I ran Enigma, no Majestics, not a single Majestic in the deck, and there were plenty of people with Majestics, and I went 4-0. I was the only undefeated there.
Nice.
Like, her game plan is incredibly complex. She's very hard to play, but she is the most snowbally. So if you can either get a good run up, or if you skill gap your opponent at all with Enigma, you're going to run them over. You can't just like get punished at all because of how many shields and breakpoints you cover. Where New, you could build a deck that can't kill your opponent, and Zen, you can build a deck that same thing, can't kill your opponent, just fatigues. Enigma, like, you have a board state, right? So if you could protect that board state, you could protect 1 spectral shield with some +1 counters on it, you'll just kill them. Or you can get to that place where you've got like 3 chi in your deck, and you're just creating 2 spectral shields per turn cycle, and just swinging with spectral shields every turn. And
Enigma definitely felt pretty strong to play against. I don't know the pool well enough, so I didn't actually go for it. I thought I had a pretty okay Zen deck, and I even thought about running it just because I thought it'd be less mental mental acuity than trying to figure out Enigma or New. But I wanted to play New. I just kind of wanted to understand how the hero is going to work. And the first couple of games are kind of weird. But I started to really like see the bigger picture toward the end of it. And so like I didn't look at any of these cards. I haven't really studied them or anything like that. I just went into it blind like anybody else may do it. And I went 1 and 3, but I had a great time. I mean, like I had a great time.
Harmony of the Hunt into Stick into Tiger is pretty good. It's a 2-card 6 spread over 3 attacks. It's very, very difficult for people to defend against, and it like feels exactly like Kodachi Lock. You just know every turn he's going to swing 1 attack, he's going to swing the stick, he's going to swing a tiger, and it just keeps coming at you over and over and over again. And even when it gets to the end and they don't have tiger generators anymore, they just have their like crappy blue cards. They're just getting those with the chi that they're drawing every turn because they're in the last like 8 cards in their deck, right? So, I thought all 3 heroes felt pretty balanced. There is a little bit of rock, paper, scissors going on. Like Zen is supposed to beat Enigma, Enigma is supposed to beat New, New is supposed to beat Zen. That does exist, and I think that's not necessarily a bad thing, but there are some clear like ways that you can win the game with all 3 heroes. But I would say that if you do not know how to beat Enigma, she's going to kick your butt.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you're supposed to just be like, nope, I'll go to like 4. You could be at 20. That's okay. I'm about to throw 20 damage at you, and I know it's going to clear your board state. And then I just got to...
Right.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to do that, and it feels scary. It feels scary going down to a really low life total. But Enigma has like no teeth half the time. She doesn't have a board state. So
and you like you said, you got to damage through that board state, that wall. Most of the cards she's going to exhaust from her and anyway to build that board state up. I mean, and especially if you have multiple transcend cards, they're not blocking. They're there simply to transcend. And so next thing you know, 2-3 cards have come out of their hand. You're like, oh, like you really didn't have anything to block. You really are relying solely on this ward on the board. So, and then obviously pick the pieces. The one that that's a really, really good card to have Rainbow of. If you're new playing against Enigma, trying to react that and get that to creep over and hit.
So New relies around pick to pieces play cycles. She needs to get one of those and make sure she can like double pump it to get it to a point where the Enigma can't block it. And then Zen relies around like the either like 2 or 3 1-for-4s with 1 or 2 tigers mixed into it. That's what you really want, and those how you clear out the board state against Enigma. So I don't know. I had a lot of fun. My Sunday was Enigma. I played Enigma, and I played into Zen. I played into Zen. I played into New, and I played into New. So I played my bad matchup twice for the first 2 turns, and they were scary. Like my first round, they opened up their first turn with the Sacred Art. And I'm just like, oh, I think I'll lose. And I took a bunch of damage, but I slowly scratched my way back up. I got a board state down, and just slowly ground them out. Against the second Zen, I got a single-minded determination out, which is the 2-cost ward 2 that if you play it alone, it gets +3 counters on it. Yep. So it's a 1-for-5 over and over again. And I managed to keep 1 card in hand to pitch to it, and a single-minded determination, and just kept battering him down with 1-for-5 over and over again. And I finally caught him with a hand that only blocked with 1 card, and he died.
Yeah.
So the matchups are grindy.
They are surprisingly, right. 30 card, like 8 packs sealed, right? Whittle it down to 30. They're very grindy, and I built my deck solely sillily around like just value like block 3s and stuff. And I was like maybe this is a format you can kind of like teeter with that. Like I pulled my opponents down to fatigue, but it wasn't the way to win. Do you know what I mean? Like you needed to actually grind them out with the better play pattern and the pitch stacking and the ability to like, okay, I've got that width, I've got that extra pump to be able to finish off. Like a lot of these heroes block pretty well. I mean, New versus New, I played it quite a few times. News block very well, and obviously you want to not try and block with your blues, but the matchup felt pretty good. I think the funniest thing was I did have the one that you have to pitch chi to, and it gets plus power. I had that resolved against me for 15.
Samira guy?
No. The other one, the one that the one that could go to 20.
The
I had it.
chakra.
I had
Oh.
it. Yeah.
Oh no, the cosmic.
Cosmic. I had that resolved against me for 15. So it was fun.
In our internal testing, we've all determined that Cosmic Awakening is a bomb. It's great and limited. It's just great. You just pitch it in with all your other chi, and it's going to come in usually for 15. Sometimes you get Magical Christmas Land of 20, and it typically just ends the game.
15's hard to block. 15's hard to block and limited.
Yeah. Usually, like, on a good day where you have a D-React or something in Arsenal, you're going to feel great blocking for, like, 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd think, right?
Yeah.
Like, new block 3s, you'll figure it out, right? But like you're gonna have some like no blocks. You're gonna have some transcends if you take it. Like it happens.
You gotta have there are quite a few block 2s in this format, and a lot of them are very good, and you don't want to pass them up just because they're block 2s.
True.
Yeah.
True. And don't forget about the cheese that cycle down.
Yep. They're 0 blocks.
Yep.
And by the time Cosmic Awakening is, active, it's at that point in the game where both players are probably drawing a bunch of chi.
Yeah, unless you're playing 0 chi Zen, which is hilarious, by the way. It literally is just leg tap, leg tap, leg tap, leg tap, leg tap. You just leg tap them until they die. You're going to have chi in your deck.
He just like that.
Yeah, your hand is 3 1 for 4s
to a whole new level.
Your hand is 3 1 for 4s and a blue. What are you doing with it? You're not blocking. You're going to throw 12.
You're going to throw 12. Yeah.
Or maybe
no
one of them makes a tiger, and so that you'll throw the stick, make a tiger, and put your other one for 4 in, so that you could start like having even bigger turns. Yeah, the 0 chi Zen is pretty funny. But it's very degenerate and kind of 0 brains, because you just throw 1 for 4s at them until your opponent dies. As far as good pulls, I think the only good pull I got was Mask of Recurring Nightmares, which I immediately traded to Donnie. I owed him $35. Now he owes me about $35. So that value switch
completely flipped it.
I have a foil Manifestations of Mira guy. I picked up a Murky Waters. I picked up 1 Shadow Realm Horror. I picked up a foil Supercell.
Nice.
So I had some okay stuff, but I didn't get any marvels or bombs other than like the legendary.
I only pulled a non-foil Ranger gloves, the new one, the long draw half gloves. I only got the non-foil version of that as far as good bombs.
That's a good card though. I got 2 expansion slot Majestics. I actually ended up getting 4 Majestics in my sealed pool. I know that sounds crazy. You're like, whoa, 4 Majestics. One was Dense Blue Mist. I never played a Zen, so it really wasn't that good. In fact, I ended up deciding it out.
It might not even be good against Zen. The fact that it's a 2 card block 4.
It's a 2 card block 4, and you're usually not pitching T to it to get that extra effect where the trigger, the attacks like in constructed Dense Blue Mist is going to be great. I 100%.
There's only 2 cards I think that you care about that have on hits too. I don't think Dense Blue Mist is good in limited.
And then Dense Blue Mist.
It's the instant pay one. The all attacks targeting you this turn have -1. If you pitched a chi to it, attacks that have on hits don't proc their on hits.
Okay.
I think that's particularly bad. It might be like one of the worst Majestics in limited. It's funny. It is pretty funny against new specifically because it turns their daggers off. If you're gonna commit 2 cards to the daggers anyway, then at least you -1 to the 3rd attack that they're possibly throwing.
I did play it against Donnie, and that was exactly why I played it. I was just like, well, if you're gonna dagger me, I'm just gonna Dense Blue Mist, and I'm just not gonna worry about daggers this turn.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I was trying to swing with both daggers that turn.
I know, because you looked at you're like, well, dang, and I was just like, well, it's doing something.
Yeah, if your turn was like exactly dagger blue stealth attack, you're just like, oh, okay.
I pulled 2 expansion Majestics. One was Kindle, one was Visit the Golden Anvil, so I couldn't play either one of those. And then I picked I played Rowdy Locals, which was okay.
No, Rowdy Locals is gas.
Yeah,
okay.
I think I want to play some of those.
It was an okay card.
Okay.
It did what it needed to do.
Imagine your blue Wounding Blow hit as hard as a red wounding blow. Whoa.
Yeah. Okay.
And potentially has disruption.
But if you're playing that as your last
disrupt
card,
yourself though, right?
yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a cost for sure, but it is also potential disruption that swings on rate with a red.
It's a blue block 3 as well.
I think I want to play set of those.
Yes. Oh, I think Rowdy Locals is actually pretty gnarly. I think it's a pretty cool card.
Yeah, I'm
really
gonna be
well
testing
made.
it out in CC.
I like that they've taken the feisty locals to a whole new level and given it that majestic tag, and I like it. It was a good card.
What are the next locals gonna be?
I don't know.
I mean,
So
we went
they've
from
been
feisty to
feisty,
rowdy.
now they're rowdy. Rambunctious. Is that worse than rowdy?
Ravenous.
Raven.
We already had the Raven.
Wait.
Ravenous locals.
Yeah.
Yeah, we.
Oh,
You know what? That actually makes sense. That actually makes sense considering that the art for Blanche kind of gives you the whole necromancer vibes and everything. You might be onto
Blanche
something.
card
No,
is
how
so
about
cool, by the way.
Savage Lands? The Ravenous locals are from they're brutes in a bar.
Oh.
No,
Blanche is a really cool
because the
card,
feisty
though.
locals came from. Didn't feisty locals come from heavy hitters?
No, that,
Okay, let's just see. There's a whole line of locals cards, right?
Is
Oh,
there?
no, it's
there
just
Only
feisty.
two?
It's just feisty
no,
from
it's
outsiders.
just feisty.
Oh,
right?
it's outsiders.
Yeah,
Oh.
feisty
Yeah, feisty
locals from
locals.
So they're from the
outsiders,
pits.
and they're just like pushing this guy. And then rowdy locals is definitely a bar fight. This feels like a card that they wanted to put in heavy hitters, but for some reason didn't. Screams heavy hitters to me. Okay. In other news, we have a 5v5 against our brothers, the Tavern Brawlers, and that's on June
Yep.
6th. So next
And we
week,
start
Rematch.
practicing.
yeah, rematch. Yeah, I bet you're really rusty, Noah. Have you played
Oh,
Classic
dude, I'm-
Constructed in like a month?
No, no. This is the best part. I sat down against Will and I was like, I don't even know how to play it. He's like, draw 7, you get to mulligan. I was like, yes. I was like, I play lands, I tap them. I was like, set 5, the whole shebangerang. I started to pick it back up. The problem is obviously going to be not necessarily how do I play my own deck, but like I don't have any reps into like the newer stuff or any type of changes, and so if I were to go back and just like play my hatchets versus things, it would probably take me quite a bit to like get the nuance. And
You have
and
a
some of
week
the-
to do some practice games.
Yeah, I might just go back to Dawnblade too and like run people over or
I don't know if
Let
I
me-
play Dawnblade
Let me
against-
tell you, the Enigma Dawnblade matchup is probably not great.
Well, that's okay. Well, maybe I'm gonna show up as a purple lady and we won't have to worry about it. So
And then another announcement, another thing we're doing is in August, I think 17th, it'll be the Saturday of that weekend. We are hosting a Realm Invitational event. It'll have like
We
a
are.
$500 at least prize pool. We might upgrade that if we see that's pretty popular. If we have enough entries, we'll be able to upgrade that prize pool. And it's going to be at LevelUp Duluth. I think it's going to be $35 entry, and there will be, I think with the current number of people we have coming, there will be at least 2 invites to the Realm Rumble, which I think is much closer to Georgia this time around. I don't know if they've announced it, but I heard it was going to be on the Eastern Coast, not in Ohio like it was last time.
That'd be nice.
that would be
like
nice.
like
yeah.
Virginia or something. Something
Ooh,
much
that's
closer.
doable.
Much closer than
That's-
Ohio.
That might be doable.
I'd have to double check, but I know it is closer. So that's exciting. I'm excited to get this invitational at LevelUp Duluth. And if this one goes well, I'm gonna make it like a twice per year thing. We'll have a late winter and a late summer one that we'll try to keep cycling. That means local players will have an easy access to pick up somewhere between 4 and 8 invites per year to go to the Realm Invitational, and that
more
tournament pays
opportunities
out.
to play.
Yeah, it's like a 50K tournament.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it and there's other things there too. I mean, if you're another avid card player of other games, like it's not just Flesh and Blood too. I mean, obviously you're getting an invite for Flesh and Blood, but it's a cool place. I mean,
So, do your
think of it like an
Magic the
SCG
Gathering.
con.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very similar.
And so pricing, we'll figure it out how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna try and stretch the amount of pricing we can offer as far as I can, in terms of making sure that everybody feels adequately supported for their entry fee, and we have a good time. We give away some good stuff.
Yeah, ideally we come up with the prize support that's so that we have a little bit of raffle. We give stuff to the winners. And if more people show up than expected, then we just buy boxes right from Level Up and just give them out.
Right. Yeah,
So,
and it's a good way of supporting the store that's helping us do this as well. So it'll feel pretty good both ways.
the goal is just to make just enough money to compensate our judge and maybe have like a little bit left over to make sure the next event goes smoothly as well. That's the goal.
We'll keep you guys updated on that as we get
I guess
closer.
we're specifically talking to our southeastern U.S. audience there. We've got listeners from all over the place, but yeah, I mean, if you feel like traveling in for a half K, come on with it.
It is Atlanta,
Yeah, come
so
on,
it's
Brody,
ridiculously easy to get to. But I'm not saying you should show up to try to snipe a Realm Invitational. I think it would be cheaper just to buy one from somebody. Maybe an Atlanta
should.
local who wins one this August. So
Just
yes, mainly
hang around Georgia for a while.
Okay, hold on. I know I have confirmation from groups from Alabama, South North Carolina, and Florida who all say they would come. So if each of those groups brings 5, that's already 20 people. And then we got 20 plus people in the Atlanta area. I think it's going to be a great event.
Oh, yeah, I think it's going to be pretty successful. It's going to be pretty darn successful, and it's a good way. Like it's a good way to get into it, and obviously, it's our first time, and so we can only ever get better. And
and if we overbought on pricing, I'm sure Noah will open it.
Yeah,
I'm sure he will have some help.
I've got plenty of extra stuff too, so I've got tons of stuff. We can figure it out. Sleeves, all sorts of things. It doesn't just have to be entirely pack related. So I know I can try and like set aside Enigma sleeves or new sleeves or things like that or whatever, like cool fun things to raffle out, to give out, to have a good time.
Okay, speaking of like money and opening packs and stuff, I bet the market's pretty weird right now. We've got a lot of cards on sale that don't technically exist yet, but there's certainly stores putting things up for numbers.
There sure is. I won't do too many pre-sales. I mean, they're up there. Not everything is up there on pre-sale, which is kind of weird. Maybe it is. I'm just not looking at it. But some things just don't have prices. The 2 I wanted to look at in terms of pre-sales, actually are 2 headpieces. The first one we're going to look at is Traverse the Universe, and that is the Mystic Equipment Head Legendary. Block 2 Blade Break that says, when this defends, search your deck for an inner chi, reveal it, and put it to your hand, then shuffle. I actually think that this card might be the crown for the new heroes in some cases.
If you can get one cheap, go ahead and pick it up. And when I say cheap, look at like what Balance of Justice goes for. Even though Balance of Justice is generic, if these heroes have any meta impact at all, other than new, I'm talking about mainly Zen and Enigma, this headpiece is going to be expensive. It's cracked. Like
I agree. This is filtering, right? Like, think about this. This is putting chi into my deck, and I want to get it out of my deck. How do I do it? I block with the headpiece. I pull it back out.
I mean, Zen getting a 6-card hand on Zen getting a 7-card hand on demand is terrifying. He just goes block with headpiece, block with boots. I have Tiger and Chi in hand, plus my 4 cards, plus my arsenal, and you go, uh-oh.
Yeah, that's actually terrible. I forgot about the boots. It's actually terrifying.
Yep, he uses the chi for his hero ability, or to play Shifting Winds, Swamp, or and then he banishes that Tiger from the boots into a Artivore, and he's just suddenly just throwing 8 or 9 cards at you in a turn. It's crazy.
Hey.
Yeah, Zen is great.
Zen's scary, man.
Yeah,
Zen is scary. He's very scary. That's why I think they didn't give him too many newer cards. They really wanted to let the older cards kind of shine, and then they'll probably spot add as they need, but they probably didn't want to give him too much.
I don't think he needs anything.
Yeah, I think he's going to be just fine.
And then Enigma uses it because she can on demand put Mirror Guy out with 4+1 counters on it, and then swing a 1-cost 8 over and over again. It's pretty good.
Very. Very
1
good.
for 8 with go again, and also gets 4 points on ward. So it's a 2-card 12.
This is
no, it's a 2-card 12. It's a little more than 2 cards. If you have Tunic up, it's a 2-card 12 because you use your Tunic counter to swing. But then it's a little better than that because if you keep it out for 1 extra turn, it turns into a 2-card 20.
Mm-hmm. Enigma's numbers are scary.
They are.
They really are. I'm slowly creeping toward either player or Vincetter type of like it's
no
it's
Enigma's
one
fun.
of those
I don't think
things,
Enigma's
man.
gonna be as oppressive as you think, but she's fun. And if you think you like her playstyle at all, play her because she is a really fun deck.
I actually think that I've made it to myself that I'm going to play all 3 of the new heroes because I just want to play something new rather than just default back to Dorinthia. And then obviously I do kind of want to play Vincent just because I think it'll be fun.
I'm sorry I sidetracked you, by the way.
No, you're fine.
That's how this goes, man. That's how it goes every week.
But the price is actually comparable. I wanted to say that it's 124, so that's right at where balance is right now. And if this has any, like, now granted, balance can be played by a wider variety of heroes, but you have to understand that this doesn't say ninja or assassin or anything. It says mystic. So any type of mystic hero that comes out has access to this. And if they keep this inner chi, which they probably will, because it seems to be like their form of a resource, the headpiece will probably continue to keep value. I mean, obviously it'll have its highs and lows during the meta swaps, but you got to think about they've really thought about a long term for this card.
Okay, we keep comparing this against Balance of Justice. What was Balance at when it was first introduced? I mean,
only like
pre-sale
80
price for Balance.
I was gonna say
it was
the
only in the
pre-sale
60s,
price
right?
wasn't that good because nobody understood
KO.
the interaction yet.
KO was gonna
yeah.
be. No, it's just no one understood how powerful and obnoxious KO was going to be yet. It's just like Balance of Justice increases your percentage to survive KO by, I would say it's like 5 or 10%, right?
It does, but I think it also plays really well into Kano, who's going to draw as well, and you're never going to get block value out of either if you're not playing you could play Arcane elsewhere, and in some cases Prism or other draw heavy decks. I mean, like it was a cool way of getting block value and also getting the card on a different cycle than the Crown, which you had to do it all at once. And so I like it, and this is the same sort of a way where
so it works against all heroes,
right? Yeah, it felt pretty good. I don't know. I think this headpiece is going to stay pretty high. I'd at least say 80 plus. I mean, it might drop a little bit, but I'd like to say at this price it's about 80 plus on Rainbow Foil. The
also,
next headpiece
the art. The art is just it's so good. Gorgeous. I think it's my favorite art in the set.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, they've really outdid themselves with the art. I mean, the mats, some of these cards, like I wouldn't play mats of half the cards I've looked at. Like even some of the foiling, I've opened up some more of these like Blitz boxes, and I've looked at even like the Venom Strike foiling, and like the foiling on the snakes they're just so good. Like the rainbow foils look amazing. Like LSS, you've really done it.
Let's bring it back to the pre-release for a second and those promo packs.
Oh yeah,
those extended art promo packs. Oh my goodness, the slithers and the fang strikes were fantastic.
They're spoiling
I'm very particularly fond of the art for Moon Chakra. That cold foil Moon Chakra like looks so good.
Yeah, really outstanding.
The promo packs were awesome this time. Absolutely awesome.
Like talk about being a newer player, 8 packs, that kind of promo pack for your entry fee. It does feel pretty good. I mean, it's like
shout out to LSS for completely decentivizing competition in the pre-release. I liked it a lot. Yes. Everyone gets that really nice promo pack. Everyone gets prize support. You raffle off the gold pack. I know that's by store. But everywhere I saw it pop up, it got raffled. There's no competition. Everyone just had fun. You could just whatever hero you wanted to play. You didn't feel incentivized to play your best pool. You just played whatever you want.
The 8 packs really open it up. And in fact, I heard from a lot of people, I'm having a hard time going down to 30, which is crazy because usually most people are like, I'm having a hard time figuring out what stuff to add. Like heavy hitters, I think they took a little bit of like not critique from, and like I'm throwing in these really like crack bobble s type cards just because I need to get to that number. And I think this was the opposite, and it felt great. I could like look at all these potential picks and go, well, how do I make the most streamlined 30? And it felt really good. It felt like entry level deck building, right? Like it felt just like Classic Constructed, like a little like taste of it. So really well done.
The deck building was very enjoyable. 8 packs, very powerful decks too. But again, we deviated again. Next card.
Sorry,
next
man,
card, Noah.
You had me thinking about the Fang Strikes. I'm like, oh my god.
Mask of Recurring Nightmares is the next card. Art's amazing.
Good card.
The full art's amazing. It's absolutely insane. It's another headpiece. This is the Mystic Assassin. So this one is assassin specific. It's a once per turn attack reaction that costs a chi. So target defending hero banishes a card from their hand. It has Blade Break too. It's Coronet Peak, but better.
With Go Again.
Plus.
Because Coronet Peak uses your action point, if I recall correctly.
Oh yeah. It does. Yes. It does. This is on an attack reaction step, which is crazy, and it works with all the cards that say, "Did you activate an attack reaction?" Yes, I did.
What's the pre-sale for?
Yes. The pre-sale is $98. I actually think that this card, if new is a meta hero, we're gonna see this probably at flesh bag levels, if not higher, 75. 80.
Yeah, that's what I said. Donnie, we'll wait till that price settles out.
But like, honestly, it will drop. It will. I'm thinking at least higher than 65 for sure. Don't know where it peaks out. Now the cold foils is a whole different story. The only cold foil I see is for 225. I can't tell you if that's an extended. But if it's anything like the rarities of the extendeds, like Redback Shout extended is sitting at 295 right now. I would see that these being about 200 plus on the extended arts, maybe 175, 180 as it settles down. They're going to be expensive extended arts. New is going to definitely be a hero people are going to try and make. People are going to bling it out. That full art is just out of this world. I want it just to sit in my binder. I also want to play it. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Beautiful.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to take a lot for me to buy any other sealed product from now until the end of time, until I have my full playset of all these extended arts. I may just buy Mistveil forever, or at least until new hits Living Legend. We'll see.
A little bit about the headpiece, though. I think it's really interesting because Traverse is clearly much higher power level than Mask of Recurring Nightmares, but that doesn't quite work with new. I feel like they made Traverse and they said, hey, let's make a headpiece that just really does the cool thing for all three heroes, and they just couldn't make it work. I said, okay, let's give New something for her. And that headpiece is pretty good. She is the assassin that can like consistently rip your hand apart.
Yeah, no, New's terrifying. Yes. Like it feels, New feels
she's not scary.
The reason I kind of am super interested in play, that's the same thing. Like it makes me feel like I'm playing Dory, but as an assassin. It actually like really excites me.
Actually, I wanted to say that to you. I'm like, I think you'd like New because it plays a lot like Dorinthia, but instead of swinging a weapon, you're swinging like a blue 0-for-1 that says
and the ball goes back to your opponent to like make the block, right? Like it feels just like Dorinthia. Hey, I'm presenting this, and you're like, no way, it's just that. And it's like, maybe. Like that's what's so good about
Double Justin Nick.
It's like,
I couldn't tell you how many times during pre-release I sat there and said, okay, I'm presenting one ish.
One maybe
one ish.
one maybe 11.
It's good stuff. No, New is definitely on my radar to play. Like I said, all three heroes definitely really cool. Each hero got their own legendary, right? Chest for Zen looks amazing. Obviously got to give Illusionist feet, amazing. And then the mask is just so gorgeous. So Zen's going to be the next two cards that we're talking about. And actually both of these are from Round the Table. I don't remember if we've talked about these in the past. Well, I mean, we did. We lost.
We tried. I think we tried twice.
Yeah.
but
so let me guess. We're going to talk about Growl and Mauling Key.
Well, Mauling Key is definitely there because it continued to go up. Growl I did not do because I forgot whether we talked about it or not. But then it's the take. I actually wanted to highlight Pouncing Paws Pouncing Paws from Round the Table is a rare. That's what we're going to talk. Ninja Equipment Legs Instant. Destroy this, create a Crouching Tiger in your banish zone. You may play it this turn. Battle Worn 1. These were at 90 cents. They've jumped up to about $5.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I can tell you exactly why they're played. Exactly why they're played over the other leg piece. You play the other leg piece like in most of your games, but if you go up against a mechanologist, you have to put the battle worn boots on. Or the T-bones are going to rip your gear.
I was just
Every single other piece is blade break. So that means if you come in with the blade break boots, every T-bone they throw at you is eating a piece of gear off of you. And all 4 pieces of gear do things to make Zen a better deck, right?
That's a very good point. And
exactly
they are battle worn. Yeah, they are battle worn 1. Battle worn pieces in Flesh and Blood are so good, so far and few between. They try.
They're rare now.
They've been making very few of them. Yeah, very very rare now. So it does not surprise me that these boots have trickled up in price. Mauling Key is the next card. Yeah, they're getting up there. Mauling Key is now up to they're out. So like when I say they're out, there's one on TCG Player right now. So when we were talking last time, I think they were like $5 or $6 if I remember correctly. I was telling you guys like, hey, they're up there. They're $14. They're completely sold out of TCG Player.
Wow.
Mauling Key is a red 5 attack, 3 block ninja action. It says combo cost 1. When this hits, if Crouching Tiger was the last attack this combat chain, deal 1 damage to each opposing.
It's
is it $15 worthy, I guess.
Okay, at its floor, at its floor, it's a 2-card 7. No, it's a 2-card 7. You swing the stick, you swing 1 for 5. 2-card 7.
Got it.
Spread across 2 attacks. It's quite strong. And then it has that high roll potential of getting the extra 1 damage at the end of a chain. It's like a high search target.
That extra 1 damage?
Not really.
Oh no, because it has to hit, right? It says when this hits. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair.
It's a 1 for 6. 1 for 6 is good. Like really.
I don't know if it's a block 3 too. I'll give it that.
How much is it?
It's good. It's $15 right now. Granted, that's the only one on TCG Player. So.
Okay. But if it is $15, that means that little box that has your round the table Ira deck in it is sitting at $35 just from the boots and the Mauling Keys. The growls are probably worth a few dollars too. Yeah.
Round the Table has insane value. You got.
I am stripping the rest of that box.
I have to. You have to think about it. Civic steps are low now, but they were 22. That's almost your whole value right there, not in counting the other things that we know are in there that are worth it. That boulder drop is great. Like there's other things in that Round the Table.
What's hilarious?
Bittering Thorns.
What's hilarious is if you just took the boxes, stripped them, only sold the things that were worth selling at the time, waited till now, then sold the ninja cards that are worth selling now. You've made like $10 to $15 per box of Round the Table that you bought.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah, it is wild. Flesh and Blood's real wild. It's got some wild things that happen with that. I haven't looked into the KO Armory deck, but I think it's kind of cooled off a little bit. I think like the chess piece is maybe like 25 or 30, so it's not like outrageous, but it still kind of feels. The last card I want to talk about has been trading down for so long that I couldn't ever think it would get any lower, and it just continues to get lower and lower. It's actually a Fable. It's not a very played Fable right now. It's not Heart, although Heart still is trading down 265. I checked it today. I wasn't going to talk about it again. But Heart continues to trend down. It's just not the right meta for it. Nobody's using it. I don't think Enigma cares too much. You know what I mean? Like
she would never use it.
You know what I'm saying? Who's using a no block 3 that's trying to gain life? Like it just doesn't feel right unless the Fatigue new life gain is a real deck, and then we'll have to figure that out down the road. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
You're gonna put another non-block into a Fatigue deck? New is not a Fatigue deck, by the way. She cannot fatigue.
I know. I'm joking.
It's impossible.
I'm not
Zuri,
yet. Maybe. But Zuri can't use most of these Mystic cards. I think that are the life gain ones. I don't think.
No, those are all just the assassin cards.
All the stealth cards are assassin.
Oh really? Oh,
except
shoot,
I think the Majestics might be Mystic. Is Bonds of Agony Mystic?
They are not.
Wow.
They are
Okay.
regular
No.
assassin
Oh, man.
cards.
Yeah,
You-
never
so you
mind.
could
There's some life gain.
You could play them in other assassins, and I've seen an Arachne try to play it. It didn't go well.
No, you're losing out on the contract ability, which I think makes that hero like so good.
These are insane
well,
in Blitz
So
Arachne.
good.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Solitary Confinement.
Solitary confinement.
These cards are nuts.
So what's the fable?
The
I'm
Fable
still
is Grandeur of Valhai.
I knew it.
Or Valhai, I
it's because
guess.
it's Guardian, just like why the boots went down.
It is down to below
Yeah.
$100 right now. You can get one for about 99. I thought this card was going to see a slight, like it started to save itself just slightly late April when Bravo was having that big stint and people were, and then like everybody was like Victor, 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 and Bravo just goes, and then like nobody's on. I mean, we're on 30-cent crippling crushes. Like nobody's on it.
After Cast Holmes, there's no reason to ever play Bravo. And when I say Cast Holmes, I'm talking about Visit the Gold Main Estate. We lovingly call it Cast Holmes because it's like Cast Bones, but it's a house.
It's not looking so hot for Bravo right now. But if you were ever like, hey, I like this card, hey, I've always wanted to play my Bravo with it. It feels high roll, whatever. Like I think it will continue to trend down. It's from Everfest. This is a legendary Fable. You only have one in your deck, so you're not going to pull it so super often. But it says when you pitch it, Grandeur of Valhai, create a seismic surge token. So not the craziest effect, but obviously it's a blue, and Guardians like their blues, but it doesn't block, so it's got a lot of weird drawbacks.
Yeah, I can't imagine where you would be happy to have this card in your deck.
And I guess
Wasn't there one in the Betsy list that top aided the Battle Hardened a little while ago?
Did she actually run it? Because that was a fatigue list.
I
mean,
think people were
maybe
hoping
Aura Bravo could run this, but so here's the problem with seismic surges that you get randomly. You have to get the thing to pitch it, and then have a reason to use it the next turn. But you built your deck to not have that seismic surge every turn, because you only get it like once every turn cycle or a deck cycle.
It is a very interesting card. I think this will be with Valda. I think Valda would have to have an adult hero or some insane something heavily incentivized on creating seismic surge tokens for this to spike. Just not the time yet. I assume there will be a time. Every card kind of gets its day, supposedly. At least from what it looks like. Maybe not every card, but it's a Fabled, and I'd like to think that this will one day, just like the Fabled from Uprising. That's terrible. The
Blood of the
eye,
Drakai.
Blood of Drakai.
Yeah, Blood of the Drakai. One day that card will be good.
Same problem. Same problem.
It's too narrow.
It's too narrow, and you're building your deck to not need that, right? That's why Heart of Findle is good. You just get a life. Yeah. It's great. That's why Eye of Ophidia is good. You just get to look at 2 cards. It's great.
Eye is good.
But
Eye's feeling good still.
Light of Soul. You just randomly get to high roll and dump an angel into your soul, and get to do really broken stuff. Yeah.
Library.
Gain 4 life. Just no. You have you ever pitched Light of Soul and then just been like, have you ever pitched a card period and been like, man, that's really cool. I just gained 4 life. It's like an Eye of Ophidia times 4, or Heart of Findle times 4.
Silly things. The silly things like that.
I think this card will eventually have some type of a resurgence. Nothing crazy, but $99 is pretty low. I see this keep going down. I see this probably hitting as low as 75. To be honest, and that's kind of sad. I mean, Everfest has some great cards. I still wholly stand by that set being something that you need to pick up. Once Runeblade pops off, don't think for a second those Gloomings and those Revels and won't shoot through the roof. And Kasai is still a thing, even though right now people have been all over the place. So Blood in Her Hands. The set is still quite amazing. You got to remember they've limited the amount that's currently in the world. There's no unlimited that's coming out. They've literally chaffed and shredded everything else. So still a very good set. But yeah, really sad about the Fable. Really sad. But that's what I got. So I got for the Market Minute this week. So we'll have to wait and see what Mistveil brings.
So
I've got my cases on the way.
We discussed in our previous recording, but I think it warrants mentioning again that there were several rules policy updates.
Yes.
We joked that the big one was forked that lightning can be AB'd twice. Not gonna try to pull that joke off
that's
again.
Relevant.
Yeah.
Well, nobody heard it the first time. You can probably get away with it.
But I think the joke was if Kano's playing forked lightning against you, you've probably already won anyway. So just call a judge to help you out. Like, judge, my opponent's playing bad cards and I don't understand them. Please help me.
Can I AB this twice or not? Because this is weird to see this.
It brought up a greater change on how AB works in general, and that could be in prep for the next set that we think is going to be the full arcane set, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing, like occasionally expansion cards give huge hints on what the next set is going to be, like Ripple Away.
Kindle.
Well, Ripple Away.
Yeah.
Hinted at Mistveil. Kindle could be hinting at our all arcane set because it had a new keyword, right? It has amp. So they introduced a keyword that's on exactly one card that seems silly, right? Unless they're going to bring more wizards out. And then we saw Blaze Firemind. She was a new hero added to the Blitz pool as a promo. I think there'll be a way to get her at other events as well.
Yeah, I want to say Skirmish Season. They were talking about she was going to be released as a promo during Skirmish Season as well.
The big changes to the rules and policies, though, are as players can no longer ask for a concession at any point. They said the heart of this rule to begin with was to allow like friends and teammates to have a way that's described in the rules to ask for a concession without having to always call a judge. They said that that was used negatively, that people were just sitting down asking for a concession every round, and they just didn't like the way it felt in the game, so they cut it. Now the rule is black and white. You can no longer ask for concession anytime during a round of Flesh and Blood. Also, you can't concede anymore. If you discuss prizing it at all and they catch you doing it, they're not going to allow you to concede. You have to play the game out to its normal ending. However, you can just go no blocks and just die. They said
that's the weirdest one to me.
They said it's not a perfect rule. They acknowledge, if you go and read the article, they acknowledge it's not a perfect rule. They're working on what they would think is a perfect rule, but they said they don't want perfection to be an enemy of progress, right? So they think they're improving the rule by saying, hey, if you discuss prizing at all, you have to play. You have to sit down, play the game, and report a winner. And you're not allowed to discuss future turns once you hit time. That's another big one. I always thought that was just like a natural thing people did. They said it's disruptive to tournament organization, meaning it can make games take longer than they should because you've already hit time. And it could be considered coercion, or you could be deceiving your opponent on like how good your next draw was going to be and so on. And they said, nope, you just can't discuss future turns. You take your turn 0, your turn 1, and you end the game after that. If your opponent on their own looks at their hand before any game actions are taken, their hand and board state, and say, I concede, that's fine. They could do that. But other than that, like, you have to do the normal thing. Once an action is taken at time, you have to finish the game out or it's a draw.
And I mean, we spoke about this. Obviously, this is, in this take, but I think it really rewards, like, sort of like, it's an experience thing, right? You need to be able to look at your own board state. You need to be able to like think what's been played, what has been played, look at the graveyard and go, do I have a way of winning this? And if you honestly believe you do, you need to play it out. And you need to either like live by it, lose by it, win by it, whatever. And that's part of learning the game. I think it's a very crucial, critical part. I've had a couple of games go to time in which I needed to set up some kind of crazy turn to win that I've either botched or did correctly or thought I had a card that I did. But you need to experience that because there are games where you are completely in the winning seat, and you need to be able to realize that. You need to be able to capitalize on those moments and go, okay, I know it looks kind of weird. I only got 2 turns, but I'm pretty sure I can win this. Like that, I think, is what separates that next ladder, that level of flesh and blood, that upper echelon, is being able to really determine that. And like the whole talking future turns, do that after the game. Like lose, win, whatever. Then hey, like
Exactly.
you know, I wish we could have discussed this, but like, can we like take a quick sec and just like lay this out? Like, what did you have left? What did I have left? Like, was there a way? Kind of a thing. That's where the growth lies. Not just conceding, not giving up, not trying to figure out who has the better turn. Like in a quick exchange, it's there's some nuance to it, and I really think that that's a level of growth that some players are going to miss out on, and you know, myself included. I'd much rather lose and have made the mistake and then learn about it afterwards, than to just like up and concede every game and go, okay, well, I'll just, you know, I'll give it away because I didn't win in the time and I don't want to think about it. Like,
just remember, everyone's a competitor, right?
Right.
So, okay, I think this is actually this rule change is a symptom of a different problem, though. The rules change in my mind is a symptom of the fact that it just plain sucks to get a loss or to get a draw in Flesh and Blood. I'd rather take the loss. I'd rather have the option to concede than sit there and have a draw on my record, because it's gonna hurt my tiebreakers worse than if I'd actually lost.
I don't think it does. It's just a loss for you. I think it's the problem is that you're right. I guess you're right, because your opponent gets a loss and they are a bigger loser than they should have been if they had won, right? And it does, so right. It does hurt your tiebreakers. I think it is ridiculous. I think it should be something like a draw isn't a win, but it looks good on both players' tiebreakers. But then are people drawing on purpose?
It should have some kind of weight. It should definitely have some kind of weight, more than a loss does. I mean, right now, a draw is literally worse than a loss.
I think the idea is that Flesh and Blood shouldn't come to a draw. I just mathematically, I don't think if both players are playing, that it should ever draw. And I think that it goes back to the same thing about the growth, that I feel like you do need to lose and you do need to just play it out and lose, or like,
hold on, we're talking about organized play here. You can't just play it out. Your next round is starting in about 30 seconds. If you're the person who got called out and you're the last person there and you're taking the turn 0 and turn 1 and you're in overtime, then like literally as soon as the game finishes, you don't even have time to take a restroom break. You gotta go sit down at your next chair and ask the judge to give you time to go take a restroom break. So they're cutting it off and they said like this future discussion and stuff, they don't want to do it because it makes that turn 0 and 1 take longer.
Right.
And if you remember what happened at the PQ Plus event at Battle Hard in Atlanta, it was a disaster because the venue closed on them, because that tournament, like the first like 2 or 3 rounds of that tournament went to 110 or 120 minutes. Sorry, they went to the time 55 minutes plus 10 to 20 minutes every time.
Wow.
They went to like the 70th minute every time for like the first 2 or 3 rounds.
Every there was always some game happening for quite a long time where it was like some methodical turns, and obviously when you've hit time, like they're 1, 2, 3 turns out. But
it's more that it's like it was bad luck kind of, but the tournament organizer and the judges should have realized it. They happened to deck check the long matchups on the first 3 rounds. So the person they deck checked went to the full 55 minutes, and you know it takes them like 20 minutes to deck check, so we're sitting at 75 minutes now. And they just start the turn 0, turn 1 at the 75th minute. Yeah, it was a disaster. It was pretty bad. So they want the rounds to end concisely. And I hate that games do end in draws, but sometimes they do. If you go to turn 18 or 19 or 20, sometimes that's just how the game goes, right? It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to reasonably expect people to take a consistent like 1 minute and 30 seconds a turn, which you have to do to end a game within 20 something turns. The next thing is like equipment zones are now much more strict. It's always been this strict, but it was never enforced. They let people like put them into a group of 4 or whatever,
or flip them face down, or
flip them face down when they're broken. Now the ruling is you have to move them over to the graveyard as a Levia player, that's just what I do now. So no big deal. I'm throwing my gear into the graveyard anyway. But that's because the new cloaked mechanic, they're heavily enforcing the board state with equipment because of the cloak mechanic, and they could be in different spots and so on. You have to put your helmet in the helmet slot, chest in the chest slot, legs in the leg slot, arms in the arm slot, and you can't
Standard
make any
loadout.
adjustment. You could do your left hand, right hand change. If you're left-handed, you could put your deck on the left and do the same thing on the other side, but in general, you have to keep your stuff in the expected zones. And like I said, that's always been the official policy, right? They just didn't enforce, and coming up to Nats and stuff, they're going to probably start enforcing it, especially in draft.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, in the constructed formats, there's still no reason why you can't play your snaps. You can still have your equipment in snaps or the slide cases, the hard cases, whatever you want to call them. You just still have to move them into the graveyard zone.
You just
I saw people just like tucking them underneath their graveyards, and I don't see why that would ever be an issue unless you're playing Levia, in which case you have contingencies anyway.
Yeah.
You know what you're supposed to do with Levia.
And on both, there were two alternatives left on the notes where they brought this rule up that, you could either put that snap on the bottom, and that doesn't really disrupt your graveyard order, and that's fine. Or you can put the snap next to the graveyard, and that's fine. They don't have any problem with that.
Yeah. Just make a side pile. Put, like I said, put it on the bottom. Get all your equipment.
Just make it obvious it's no longer on the field.
Right. I'm a habitual just flip my. I've been doing it since I've played the game, and so it's going to be tough for me to remember that. But it's just with the cloak stuff, though, it makes perfect sense because otherwise, you've got cards that are literally supposed to be face down now, and so it's very confusing.
I think
so that tracks.
That covers all the rules changes. That's all of them, I believe. We might get some more clarifications on things once Mistveil is formally out this weekend. But
I can't wait.
Yeah,
can't wait till my case gets in.
I'm just excited to draft. I'm hitting draft camp up this coming weekend and the next weekend leading into Nats, and I can't wait.
The draft seems really cool. I kind of want to go. I kind of want to go. I'll hopefully playing it this weekend off. The set looked really fun for sealed. Seems really bizarre for a draft, but maybe not. Maybe I just need to draft a couple times, but it actually seems really fun. Lots of different mystics, lots of different generics that you can kind of start with before you flesh out your deck, or maybe you take a couple power cards for class. It feels kind of nice. Like I don't want to say too open, but it actually does feel.
Every one of these heroes is so deep.
Yeah,
except like that.
So complex.
1-for-4 go.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
except
I'm talking about classic constructed. I'm not talking about sealed or limited. I'm talking about.
I'm sure there's still nuance.
I thought we were talking about
sequencing your 1-for-4s, but
is it a 1-for-4?
Have you seen my
you
elo?
swing with it. Is it not a 1-for-4? You block with it.
Is it not? That's it.
Okay.
Nah, I got my case from Star City Games just because I wanted those Cold Foil Slither tokens. I mean, I would have preferred to buy local, obviously, support my local LGSs, but if there's going to be a promo that's probably going to be worth $70 and I'm getting 4 of them for buying a case, why in the world wouldn't I?
Yeah.
I think we talked about this, and I already said, I think for the personal fact that you really want to play the hero too, I think that it was the right decision through and throughout. I mean, I'm a big min-max simp, so I'm real loyal. I'm real loyal to my branding. I'm real loyal to Peter. But I've got some cases on the way. I've got one set aside for you. I probably will end up buying more than the 5 that I've slated because Lord knows I don't need to. But what can you do? I mean, when the set looks that good, when I'm sure the Marvels and the cards are going to be all over the place, and these are going to be meta-defining heroes. Like, what can you do?
Yeah, the cards are great. This set is, man. We talked about how good Heavy Hitters was, and I feel like Mistveil is really right there too. I think the set
I
is really
expressed
well designed.
several times I said it several times that I was concerned about how they were going to follow up Heavy Hitter's power level with Part the Mistveil and whether or not it was going to be on that same power level. All of my concerns are out the window. I am no longer worried. This set is phenomenal. The heroes are going to come out and they're going to have an immediate impact. All the tier lists that I've seen floating around, the preemptive tier lists that people are putting out for Nats and the future metagame, the new heroes are right there at the top. Enigma is most people that I've seen have been classifying Enigma like right there in S tier. New has been floating around somewhere in A tier. I mean, I don't know. We can do our own tier list at some point.
Oh yeah,
probably right
you
before
have
Nats.
predictions
Definitely
listed
will.
on here as our last point. I feel like we could just dedicate either our next episode or the entire episode after that to our Nats predictions. I would like to note
think
that
that's
even
a
though the
good
Mistveil
idea.
heroes are going to have a high impact, the expansion slot cards in this set completely change the decks
Huge.
they're in. Visit the Gold Main Estate. We cast Holmes, right? Completely changes the way like Victor plays. He plays around this card now and tries to set these big like chunky 8 might token turns. Visit the Golden Anvil completely changes Olympia's deck archetype if he wants to. Supercell is just crazy in Hyperdriver decks. Crazy.
Yep.
I don't know what the new Evo pieces, if they'll have an impact on Tech Levasin or some later impact on other mechanologists, but they're all really cool. Long draw half glove completely fixed Azalea's problem from just losing the game on the spot to a bad Warmonger's diplomacy. Murky Water completely changed how Riptide can approach fatigue matchups because he's got that arrow that he can give Dominate. Kindle
Riptide looks good.
Kindle's busted.
Yeah, Kindle's scary. Kindle's
Dude.
pre-sale at $30 right now, but I think what's more scary is what that spells for the next set.
Kindle out of Arsenal is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. It says amp 1, it says you have no cards in your hand, draw a card. Amp 1 says the next thing you cast comes in one more. Like you have the Kindle in Arsenal, you flip it, you draw that card, it's a blue, and you're just like, God, this Kano is just killing me. Dust from the Stillwater Shrine, that card's funny, right? For a hero that's banned. Shadow Realm Horror in Levia. It doesn't really change her game plan, but that card's crazy.
I don't know what they were thinking when they made
Two-card
that
14.
card. But that card's crazy.
And
Like
They were
that-
tired of Levia being memed on.
and it blocks 3. Whoa, what's
We were
going
like,
reason that
on
card should have
here?
blocked
everyone's
3.
like, why can't we just have another like Dread Screamer? And Elissa says, we got you.
We got you big time.
Eloquent
man.
Eulogy. I haven't seen any like spicy Vinset out, but if there's going to be some like really crazy Runeblade deck that relies on rune gating, now that you can't do rune gate chain and blitz anymore, Eloquent Eulogy is going to be the card that does it. It's a one rune chant card.
That's the one that creates the eloquence, right? Which
Mhm.
allows which was very hard to like. How do you get like how would you get it? So I think we're slowly going. Like I said, every one Runeblade card that comes out is one step closer to some dominance that's going to happen.
But it already allows like really clear lines, right? You have one rune chant, right? You play Eloquent Eulogy. You Spellbound Creepers in a Read the Runes, which now gets Go Again, and it's instant. You get 3 rune chants, so you get an action point back, and then you throw like a Widespread Ruin out of your banish pile. So it's already there's clear play lines. So man, I think the expansion slot
They've
cards
done
are
such a
all
great job.
bangers, like except for the dust from the Mirror Guy dust. All of them
Well,
are bangers.
That was probably made before they knew that was going to like nail in the coffin Dromai if she hadn't LL'd by then. But
Well, it's
they've
also
really
the reason
done a
why they
great job.
adjusted the Living Legend points for the big events too, so that doesn't happen.
I mean,
Right.
the Mirror Guy dust, it's also on flavor, right? So they probably committed to it pretty early because manifestations of Mirror Guy dust. Mirror Guy is from Mistveil, so
Really cool. Yeah, I think next time we do big the Nats predictions and get closer to the Tavern Brawlers showdown, and then I can.
I feel like we
Figure
already
out
have
how
our
to play Flesh and
topics
Blood
for like
again.
our next 2 podcasts. One of them will be Nats predictions, and one of them will be hopefully how to not suck at draft.
Yeah, I don't know that I'll have a whole lot to contribute there because I'm just going to be forcing new. I'm sorry to anybody that sits next to me at any draft that I happen to do in the future. Be prepared.
That is a
getting cut off
valuable
with Assassin.
resource. You could write a whole article on it. Like if you have a hero that you feel like you're good at and you struggle playing the other 2 heroes, some people say I'm just gonna get good at this one hero. I'm gonna force it. And that's fine.
I mean, that's literally what Michael Feng did in Calling Tokyo. He just forced Enigma all weekend.
2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 3-0 probably,
second.
right?
I think he got second.
Yeah, he got second. Lost to 0-0 in the finals, but he forced Enigma in every portion of the Swiss.
So you don't have to say
and
sorry.
Top 8.
Forcing is a valid strategy inside of draft, and if you identify that it works well, that's valuable content. So if you said, hey, I want to play the Runaway server. If you said, hey, I went to the Runaway server, did 10 drafts, forced new every time, and never went worse than 2-1, that's good.
Good clear signals can be sent in the set too from the pack distributions, from what I've been told as well. It's pretty easy to see that an assassin card's been taken, or that it which feels good, because heavy hitters was a little wonky sometimes with the dual cards. You're like, well, like, what's
heavy hitters? If you didn't commit to your class by pick 4, sometimes you were going to get cracked bobbles. Now I feel like you can you can shift around pick 9 and still be okay. No bobbles.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a single bobble deck yet. Of everything I've seen, I've not seen a single person have to run bobbles. Now they might have titanium bobbles equivalent in their deck, but no actual cracked bobbles. Anything else, guys?
No, I think that's about it for me.
Okay.
Just looking forward to getting my hands on more Mistveil stuff.
I want more time to play Flesh and Blood. I'll make it.
I'm about to go play some Hades.
I think I'm actually gonna make it tomorrow. I'm gonna try to actually get out to Armory tomorrow. So that's gonna be fun.
Are you gonna? I think they're doing their proxy night to test out new Mistveil stuff. You should check the Discord. They typically do the Tuesday before the set comes out. They do a proxy night to.
I'm
play
just
test.
glad you said that, because if you didn't, even though I'm probably still, I show up, hey, I'm ready to play. It's just loud, Dory. They're just like, it's proxy night. It's like, man, I'm coming from work.
Well, Dory didn't get any new cards, so
don't worry about it. I've got proxies.
All right, take us out of here.
All right, Noah, where can everybody find you?
At BigMaxFab on Twitter and twitch.tv/.
Okay, Thomas.
You can find me anywhere online as Wet the System, specifically on Twitter at Wet the System Fab.
And I am Draco Hominus87. Everywhere social media is sold, with the exception of fabric.gg, where I write a couple of different article series. The next one I'm going to write is going to be a UPF brew, and I've got to figure out what hero I'm writing about because I have no idea yet. But that's going to be coming out sometime next month. And then after that, it's going to be Calling Minneapolis/US Nats, the whole deal there.
You have a Calling Tokyo article you didn't get to plug as well, right?
Oh yeah. That one just came out last Friday. I don't know, man. I've been so covered up. It's not even funny. I'm proud that I had the opportunity to actually get that out, and I think it came out really well, despite losing the entire coverage from the first day because of issues. But things happen. That's it, right? Nothing else. All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed catching up with us this week. And if you did, subscribe or follow, depending on where you found us, to catch us again next time. Until then, remember, we are all siblings in cardboard.
You got to discard your cards, though. Still. Mistveil brings new cards, pummels an old card. It's around. Victory exists. Discard your cards.
And don't forget the D-Cheese. That's like a GRV waiting to happen.
D-Chi.
All right.
Please.